So welcome to the Elevation Room podcast. This is our second podcast ever. If you haven't checked out our first podcast, go check out our previous video where we introduce ourselves and we basically just go over a quick introduction podcast. But in this podcast, we're going to be talking about balance and sacrifice as a young man. Now, before we get started on this podcast, I want to go around the room really quick and we're each going to name off one win we took this week and one loss we took this week. So I'm going to pass it on to Nate to answer first.
All right, so first of all, thank you for the introduction, Ollie. I just want to say, because this is our second podcast we're filming right here, and we launched our first ever episode 2 days ago, and the launch has been successful so far. We've had lots of support, so I just want to say thank you guys all for the support. If you're listening, watching, whatever, even if you're just following the Instagram account, the TikTok, liking the reels, we appreciate the support dearly. It's exciting. We're very excited about it. Episode 2 right here, excited, ready to go. And we're going to talk about a win and a loss that we took from the last week, just to catch up since last week.
Yeah.
So I'll start off with my loss from this last week. I'm not going to lie, I kind of took a big L.
What was it?
So basically, I took an L last week because my car pretty much broke down on me. I mean, these guys know about it, but basically what happened was I was driving my car last weekend and something happened with the exhaust. I think it was due to rusting. And all of a sudden I was driving down the road and my car just started making loud noises, right? It sounded like a motocross, right?
F1 car.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, whatever. I'll take it into my guy in a couple days. I waited a couple days and I was driving to work and I was about to get on the highway and it just got hella loud for no reason, like out of the middle of nowhere. I was just driving, about to get on the highway, and it all of a sudden it just started sounding like a dirt bike. So I was like, oh, hell no, like I'm not getting on the highway right now. I took Kingston Road down to get to my work. And after work, I took it to the mechanic with the boys, left it there overnight. And the reason I took this L is because car payments are pretty expensive, man. So my mechanic, he calls me the next morning and it almost felt like a doctor diagnosing their patient with a terminal illness. The way he was telling me this goddamn bill on my car payment. He's like, all right, so first of all, we changed your oil. Second of all, we balanced your tires so you're not wobbly on the highway, right? Balance your tires out. Third of all, your front brakes were gone, so we had to replace the front brakes. And fourth of all, your exhaust was screwed, so we had to fully replace the exhaust.
You're serious?
So he's going down all these items on the list that was wrong with my car. And the total ended up at $3,000.
No.
So, yeah, that's an L that I took this past week. I had to pay $3,000 on a car payment, so
Nate,
kind of unfortunate.
Bro, I'm not going to lie. Every single time I go to my mechanic, bro, it's the same story with me. Like, I've never had a bill that big before, but like every single time my mechanic, like when I pull up, he's pissed. Like he's automatically pissed because like he knows that I drive my car a lot and like he's just expecting there to be like a shit ton of problems. So like whenever I pull up, bro, like he's looking at me and he's just shaking his head. Like he knows what he's about to expect here. Like,
and look, I'm a responsible driver. I'm not driving like an idiot. You know what I mean? I know that there's, I don't want to put anyone on the road in jeopardy, my friends, family, whatever, that are driving in my car. I drive responsibly. I follow the rules of the road, obviously. Sometimes the car has issues. I went on some big road trips the last week. I was in Buffalo. I was in Guelph. So the car did a lot of driving. And, just over time, rust occurs. So that's what happened with my exhaust, I think. But yeah, it was unfortunate, a big car payment, but you got to do what you got to do, Driving a car is a privilege, so something like that comes up, you have to be able to make the payment. So that's the one L that I took from this past week. You learn from your lessons. Obviously, I'm going to try to take care of the car a little bit more.
Yeah, when was the last time you went to the mechanic before that?
The last time I went to the mechanic was December 2024. So it's almost been a year, which is good.
Yeah, so honestly, that bill, like if you think about it, like if you went like twice this past year, like it would have added up to that total in the end. So like you had to pay in a lump sum, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
It's all right. You got to do what you got to do. Like I said, driving's a privilege, and I'm very grateful that I'm able to drive and have my own car. So you got to be a man. You got to make the payments. You know what I mean?
For sure, man.
I'm not gonna sit here, cry, fuss about it, but I will sit here and I will sit here and tell you guys that I took an L this week on my car payment. That's all I'll say. But we're all sorted out now, back on the road, so I'm feeling good. And then one W that I took this past week. I mean, it's easy to say, launching the podcast, successful launch. Happy about that. That's definitely a W that I took this week. Other than that, I mean, I talked about this last episode, but I'm training for a race, and another W I took is I've been on schedule with all my program runs, so I haven't missed a program run. I've been doing around 25 kilometers a week. I did a nice little 10K last Thursday evening, late night. It was pretty good. Felt good. Had a 5K earlier today. Yesterday was 3K. Day before was another 5K. Tomorrow I have a 10K. So, look, I've never been a runner, but I'm locked in on these runs now. So a W that I can say is I'm training hard for this race. The race is in like 2.5 weeks from now, so I'm excited for that. Continue to train. So that's one W, one L that I took from this past week. Morgan, I'll pass it over to you, my guy. Tell us the W's and L's. What did you take this past week?
Mo.
Mine aren't as, as drastic as Nate's. I mean, I don't drive, but
Damn.
I mean, I've got some W's and L's. I took some W's, I took some L's. I'll start with the L like Nate. I mean, this one's not crazy, but I mean, last night I was up pretty late doom scrolling. When I know I have stuff I got to do the next day, I woke up at 7 a.m. this morning, went to the gym, had class from 11 to 4. Now we're filming the podcast, so I knew what I had ahead of me the next day.
How late did you stay up till?
Well, I stayed up till about 12, but I mean, 7 hours sleep isn't really ideal for like the amount of day I had ahead of me. Gym, school, podcast, we're doing stuff after. So I wasn't too responsible with my time management there. That's definitely an L. I got to work on that. But a W I took, obviously, like Nate said, it's just so easy to say, we started the podcast. That is a W. Don't get us wrong.
It's a big W.
Big W.
We're excited
big
about
W.
that. Yep.
We've got the reels on backload ready to fire for you guys. That's a huge W.
Yep.
But overall, another W. I mean, like I said in the first podcast, I'm just so consistent with the gym. I love to work out. It's not even really hard for me, but I still consider that consistency a W. I took that W there, so I would say gym. And then another W I took too is that I had a midterm on Tuesday, so yesterday. And for those of you guys who don't know, I'm not the biggest studier. I absolutely hate studying. But I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to study for this test. And funny enough, when I showed up to the test, I actually knew like every question.
Hell yeah.
So it actually paid off in full. So easily 80, 85 plus in that midterm. I did really good. Studying, hard work paid off. So that's another W, I'd say.
Congratulations,
Yes,
brother.
sir.
That's good.
Nice, bro. That's sick.
Let's hear them, Ollie. W's and L's.
All right, so regarding my L, this past week, I got extremely sick with like a cold and like a fever, and it was just not good. I ended up missing a couple days of work, a couple days of school. And for you boys listening who were in my class at school who were flaming me in the group chat for posting the podcast and not going to class, I actually did not film the podcast that day. I was sick that day. We filmed this podcast last week, or the previous podcast last week. So for you boys I know you guys are watching, but I was actually sick. I didn't just skip school to film a podcast. But as far as my W goes, I even though I was really sick this past week, I still managed to get a lot of work done and just kind of like power through it. Like I popped a bunch of Advils and I just kind of powered through the work days. And yeah, nothing too crazy on the W and L for me, but pretty subtle answers. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, like we talked about this last week as well. These are just little things, right? The little W's add up over time, though, right? Like Morgan staying consistent in the gym, Ollie getting his work done. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Me staying with my program runs. These are little things. You can't expect huge jumps, just week by week. The huge jumps come down the line, 6 months down the line, a year down the line. But the little things that you do today will lead to those jumps down the line. So,
Yeah, for sure, man.
I mean, it's good that the boys are working. The boys are grinding every single day.
Can't
So
stop.
You got to love to see it. You got to love to see
I
it.
love to see
One
it.
step at a time, right?
Exactly. But yeah, we have some more questions for today's episode that we're going to dive straight into. We have a good, solid 5 questions today. Some of them are a little controversial. We wrote these up right before this podcast, and, we got some controversial ones in there. We got some other ones that are more general questions. But like Ollie said, this episode is about balance and sacrifice as a young man, you know, our opinions on balance as a young man, how we have balanced lifestyles as a young man, or how we don't. Maybe we're just locked in like robots, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I think this is probably one of the most controversial topics like of our age range, because I think like people have a lot of mixed opinions on like if you should party at our age, like just like live a fun lifestyle, make memories, or if you should be locked in, grinding, making money so you can live those memories later on in your life. But yeah, I'm really excited to dive into these 5 questions.
Cool.
I'm excited.
Yeah, so just for reference, we're all 20 years old, 21, 21, right? So young 20-year-olds. So this is our definitions of balance and our opinions on balance as young men. So I'm gonna go ahead and dive straight into the first question.
Let's do it.
This is a good question we got here. What do you consider balance as a 20-year-old man? What do you consider balance in your life? How do you go about balance? So I'll go ahead. I'll ask Morgan this question first.
Now, here's the thing. I mean, this is a really good question. Like Ollie said, balance. Like, what is it? Nate said, what is balance? I think it's so personal what balance is to each person. And like Ollie said, I mean, this is going to be like, it's pretty controversial. Let's be real. Like, there's people everywhere. You always see these YouTube videos, these TikToks. Like, when you're 20, you should do this, you should do that. But it really comes down, it's really personal. But to me, what I think balance is just overall, I would say it's called balance, but it's not balance, because you're either going to lean one way or the other. Whether your balance is not, doing what you need to do or doing what you need to do, it's not going to be completely 50-50. So for me, let's say, for instance, right, it might be a 75-25. So 75% of the time, I'm in the gym, I'm journaling, I'm working on the podcast, I'm in school. And then that other 25%, which might be the weekend, it might be a weeknight, I do, what I want to do, whether that's watching YouTube, watching a movie, spending time with my friends. That's what I would say balance is like. To sum it up, that's what balance really is. It's not actually balance in terms of 50-50. I would say it's more of whatever side you want to lean towards. So if you want to lean towards having fun, you would have that 65-45 balance of like 65% of the time I'm going to have fun, 45% of the time I'm going to lock in. But for me, essentially, it's just finding what works for you and what's going to bring you to where you want to be. So if I don't care about progression, my balance wouldn't be so much about working hard. It would be more about having fun. But overall, I would say it's just finding that good groove where like you can improve or not improve and just overall enjoy your life. Ollie, what do you think, man?
Yeah, no, honestly, I completely agree with that too. I think, yeah, like if you were to ask me what is balance, like as just a general term, I think balance is just like finding, like I automatically think about work-life balance. I just think about like working like during the week and then just having fun on the weekends. That's pretty much, I think, the most ideal definition of balance. I think you just work during the week, no matter what that is. Either you grind your business, work out, go to school, and then you enjoy your weekends. But for me personally, I think that, yeah, honestly, I'm not even really too sure. Like it's
tough.
It's a tough question because, yeah, I really think that like it's all about personal opinion. Like what Mo said, like you have to really kind of like dig deep and think about what it means to you. But just for like a general definition of what I think balance is, I think it's like work-life balance. Like you go to work during the week and then you enjoy yourself on either weeknights or weekends. And then, yeah, that's pretty much my general term. What do you think, Nate?
All right, so I really liked what Morgan said, that balance is totally relative to where you want to go towards. So for example, if I had a goal, my goal, I'm in college, I just want to party, then my definition of balance would be different from Morgan's. If Morgan's goal was to step on a bodybuilding stage and win a bodybuilding show, his definition of balance is totally different, right? So I think balance is all relative to your ambitions that you have for yourself. So my form of balance, the way I look at balance is because I think I have a really good balanced lifestyle. And I think balance is a good thing. And the reason I think it's a good thing is because it kind of keeps you on track. At least for myself, it keeps me on track of where I want to go. So I'll just give some examples. For example, balance for my health and fitness. I'll work out in the gym 5-6 days a week. I'll go hard in the gym, Monday through Friday. Every day I'm in the gym. I'm going for my runs. I'm eating healthy, sticking to my macros, getting my protein in. And on Saturday night, if I'm going out with my friends or going out with my girlfriend, I'll give myself that leeway where I can enjoy a nice meal, right? We'll go to Dave's Hot Chicken. I'll kill a couple chicken sandwiches, extra sauce.
Oh yeah.
And then hit up McDonald's after, get a McFlurry. And the reason I'm able to do that is because I locked in 5 to 6 days a week. Now I can kind of enjoy myself on the weekends. It's kind of like a mental reset, Not only that, but it gives me something to work for. It gives me something to look forward to. If I'm in the gym, Monday, I have a long workout and I'm like, oh, I got to go back to the gym tomorrow, Tuesday, and stick to my diet. We still got 4 days ahead of this week. But I know in the back of my mind, I'm like, you know what? Saturday night, me and the boys, we're going to go out. We're going to watch UFC. We're going to get some good food. I know that I can stick to my diet. I know that I'm going to stick with my workouts for the rest of this week because I know that I'm going to be enjoying myself on the weekend. So for me, that's the easiest definition of balance that I can give. It's having something to look forward to. Obviously, Dave's Hot Chicken and Oreo McFlurries are not productive for where I want to go. I want to be the most fit version of myself, the healthiest version of myself. But in some way, I think it is healthy. I think it's healthy mentally for me. Mm-hmm. It makes me feel good. It gives me something to look forward to. And I just used an example about health and fitness because I think everything for me relates back to health and fitness, but other aspects in your life as well.
For sure.
As far as just having things to look forward to. If you're working long hour weeks, you're working 50, 60-hour weeks, but you have a concert that you're going to in a couple weeks on the weekend, you can have that concert to look forward to.
For sure.
And it's going to make waking up at 6 a.m. to go to work a little bit easier. You know what I mean? I think in life, you should always have something that you're looking forward to, because if you're not, it's going to be hard to wake up at 6 a.m. You're going to think you're stuck here forever, when in reality, you're not. Always have something on your schedule that you can look forward to. If it's something small, like, a nice cheat meal on the weekend with your girlfriend, or if it's something big as well, like, going on a vacation, something like that. For me, that is balance.
There needs to be a little bit of light at the end of that tunnel.
For
right?
sure, yeah. No, I agree too, because I want to add one thing. Like, if I don't have like something to look forward to, like work kind of becomes miserable almost for me. Like, I don't really have anything to like strive towards, or like, obviously I'm striving towards my goals by working, but I don't really have anything to look forward to during the week. I just think my life's on repeat every day, working, grinding. But if I have like that light at the end of the tunnel, like these guys said, I think like it just makes you want to work harder and like makes me think like there is something at the end, like after all this grinding, like it's going to pay off. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I also think that balance is not falling prisoner to where you want to be. So for example, if I wanted to be a bodybuilder, I wanted to step on stage and win shows, I would obviously have to lock in, and I wouldn't be able to have any cheat days, anything like that. But also for me, balance is being able to have that cheat day. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because then you're not prisoner to where you're trying to go. And, you can question if that's optimal or not for chasing your goals. Some people are more, some people that are goal oriented are like kind of like head down, like no cheat days, no mess ups. Like you have to be fully 100% locked in order to achieve this thing. Me personally, I think I have a little bit more flexibility when it comes to that. So yeah, that's what balance means to me for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like how you guys said earlier, like everyone's balance is going to be different, because like, say for example, like the bodybuilder, like you said, like they're going to be grinding for those weeks to like the lead up to the show. And then their like gratification or delayed gratification might be further along than somebody's who's just grinding during the weekdays and having fun on the weekends. Like they're going to be looking forward to something in 4 weeks when someone's going to be looking forward from something in like 5 days. You know what I mean? Like it's all going to be different based on personal objective.
Yeah. Balance is not falling prisoner to your ambitions. Like back to the fitness. If I'm trying to get fit, but my friends want to go and eat dinner, I'm not going to bring chicken and rice to the restaurant. You know what I mean? I've seen a lot of people do that online. Like, come on, man. you're bringing chicken and rice to a restaurant when your friends are eating. It's either don't go, don't eat anything, or like just eat the food that the restaurant has. You know what I mean? You could always find a healthy option on any menu. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you're doing that, when you're bringing the chicken and rice to the Chuck's Roadhouse, at that point, you're falling victim to your ambition and you're not living a balanced lifestyle. If you want to live a balanced lifestyle, give yourself the leeway to enjoy yourself every once in a while.
At least.
And not only that, it's like, if I want to enjoy myself on a weekend, you know, I'll still work out before I go out and eat dinner with the boys at a restaurant. I'll still go for my run before I go out and eat dinner with the boys at a restaurant. You know what I mean? Like, if you're still clocking in, that even gives you more reward to go and enjoy that meal.
Yeah.
You know?
It's all about what you do on that alone time. Like, don't let the stuff that you do on your alone time affect your like time with your friends and stuff like that. Like that chicken and rice thing at Chuck's, like that's just doing too much at that point. Like,
there's so many people that do that.
That's crazy.
Yeah. They'll bring like chicken to a restaurant with their friends or their family. Bro, I seen mans. I seen mans. They brought like, it was like a birthday party. They were cutting the birthday cake, and a man had a chicken breast. He had a chicken breast, and the crazy thing is, like, you don't see like Chris Bumstead doing this. Like, I don't want to be malicious or anything, but like this guy wasn't that big at all, and he's got a chicken breast. It's like, brother, like, you know, you realize we're gonna die one day. Enjoy yourself a little bit while you're here, right?
At
like,
least.
we all have goals, we all have ambitions, but I promise you, a little sliver of cake is not gonna set you back that far, right?
Agreed.
At that point, bro, like
You're into
bro, you're just trying to prove a point at that point.
First of all, yo, if I had a son, and you know, for example, it was my wife's birthday party, we're cutting the cake, and this guy brings a chicken breast to the birthday table. If he brings the chicken breast to the birthday table while we're cutting cake, bro, like he's gonna hear it. I'll tell you that much.
yeah, I'm pissed. I'm pissed.
He's getting an earful.
Bro,
That's funny. All right, boys. Well, do you guys have anything else you want to touch up on about what
I'm
you
good.
consider balance?
I think we covered all bases there.
yeah,
Yeah,
I think we're good.
we covered all bases. So we'll go ahead. We'll move to our second question. This is a controversial question, in my opinion, because there's two sides of the spectrum, right? And I think I know what side of the spectrum I'm on. I don't know about these guys, so I'm excited to hear their answers. But the second question is, do you think it's smarter to grind in your 20s or enjoy them while you're young? We'll go ahead. We'll ask Morgan this in order again.
Okay, guys. So to me, this is a very, very easy question to answer. But I can understand and I can see where both sides would come from on this question. And I'm just going to say it. I mean, I think grinding in your 20s is obviously better. Like, let's be real here. But I can see where people come from. You know, you graduate high school at 17, 18 years old. And then 2 years later, even a year later, even like the next September, you're already back in school, you know, working, whatever you do. And it just feels like you have no break, right? You're just constantly grinding. You want to relax a little bit. You want to have fun, enjoy, you know, your 20s, you're young, little to no responsibility. But on the other side of things too, I mean, it's weird because you see all the time, like people say, oh, like your 20s is your prime. Like you should do this, you should party, you should travel, you should go to this, do that. But I honestly just believe that your 20s just straight up aren't your prime. Like they're just not. I think you're too young, you're too immature in your 20s. A lot of people, especially men, don't fully develop or mature, at least mentally, until they're like 30. Let's be real. I think if you use your 20s smartly, you invest money, you work out, you go to the gym, just the basic stuff. You know, you get your education, you work a job, you move up the corporate ladder, whatever you want to do. Start that business, build that personal brand, build that podcast. By the time you're 20, like 6, 7, 8, you're 8 years into your grind. No one's saying you got to lock yourself in a room and self-improve, but if you just focus on stuff that's going to help you in the long run throughout this like decade of your life, you're setting yourself up, I would say, like tenfold for when you're 30, right? I think about this all the time too. Like my worst regret would just be that I just enjoy my 20s I go to every party. I'm seen everywhere. You know, I'm drinking. I'm traveling all the time. You know, not really focusing on what needs to be done. And then I exit my 20s with like nothing to show. Like I could still be living at home, like no car, no money, no investments. And then what? I mean, we're all gonna be here still in 10 years, right? Let's say I decide to have fun, and then Nate decides to continue his personal brand, go for runs, do marathons, you know, coach people online and make money. When we're both the same age in 9, 10 years, I'm gonna be that guy who just has a bunch of memories, and he's gonna be that guy who has tangible things he can say he accomplished. And also too, like those are memories, and let's be real, like traveling the world solo, you know, building a personal brand. Those are all memories in themselves. So overall, to sum that all up, I would just say that it's a no brainer. I mean, no one's saying you got to do anything crazy, but at least set yourself up in your 20s. At least. Ollie, Nate, what do you guys think about that?
Yeah, yo, Nate, can you just repeat the question one more time?
Yeah. So, do you think it's smarter to grind in your 20s or enjoy them while you're young?
Okay. So if you were to ask me this question 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I would automatically straight up just say that you need to grind in your 20s no matter what. Like I would argue that like for sure. But now that I'm a bit older and that I've matured a little bit, I can see kind of both sides of the spectrum. So like, but back then I was so ambitious and so like just locked in on what I wanted. I'm lucky that I learned that young and I kind of understood like exactly what I wanted to be in the future at a young age. And I think that for me, yes, you have to grind in your 20s because for what I want to achieve. It's all about what you want to achieve with your life. I think if you don't grind in your 20s and you're someone like me, like you're going to be screwed in the future because I want to be a business owner for the rest of my life. I don't want to work a 9 to 5 corporate job. I don't want to climb the corporate ladder. But then there's people with other ambitions who do want to do that and who do want to climb the corporate ladder and don't think it's necessary to grind in their 20s because they have other ambitions than me. And I think I've recently came to understand that not everybody thinks the same way as me, and people want different things than I do as well. And that's something my younger self didn't really understand. But I definitely think for someone in my situation who wants to be a business owner and who's obsessed with self-improvement and just bettering myself, you need to grind in your 20s or else you're going to fall behind in your 30s. But if you're somebody who has other ambitions, like wants to become a doctor, or like not even just a doctor, like someone who just wants to climb the corporate ladder, who wants to work for another business. Like I think grinding in your 20s could work, but like I think it can benefit anybody, but it all depends on what you want to do in the future. I'm just gonna leave it at that. What do you think, Nate?
That's cool. So, before I answer this question, do I think it's smarter to grind in your 20s or enjoy them while you're young? I just want to touch up on something that Morgan said because it just made me think. Morgan said that he doesn't think your prime is in your 20s.
I don't think so.
I would have to disagree with that because I think there doesn't have to be a specific age where you're just in your prime. Like obviously when you're 35, you know, you've made a lot of money, maybe you own a business, you're in better shape, you have a wife, you have kids. Obviously that could be considered a prime, but also 20 years old right now, why not be in your prime from 20 years old all the way to 40 years old? You know what I mean? Why not just stay in your prime? And that's what I think, because I see a lot of videos online of guys saying, you know, you're not in your prime until you're 38 years old. You know that, right? Like Brad Pitt didn't do this until he was 38, right? But the problem that I have with that is guys will see that video that are 20 years old. They'd be like, okay, Brad Pitt didn't, you know, make his big break till he was 38. That must mean I'll have something come up when I'm 38 years old. That's not what's going to happen. You need to start working as a 20-year-old man to get to that point by the time you're 38, right? Like, you can't just sit on your ass and
expect it.
Expect it to come. Like, you can't just, like, think, like, oh, like, men don't reach their prime until they're 38. Oh, I'm just going to wait for it to come. It's not going to come if you just wait. You know what I mean? You have to work today in order to get to that position while you're 38. And that's something that I believe.
Let me add something onto that. I wasn't saying, I understand where you're coming from, but I wasn't saying that like you wake up at 35, oh, I'm in my prime, let's work.
Yeah.
What I was basically saying is like, that's when all of your hard work will start to actually like show and compound. So like you said, you know, you have to start now. I totally agree with you. You got to start right now. And sure, Brad Pitt's a great example. You know, he may have not made his break till he's 38. but he didn't start acting when he was 38. I can guarantee you he was acting a lot earlier than 38. So essentially, what I meant is that all the work you put in will start to show around that time, but you definitely should start now.
Yeah. No, listen, I agree with you. And I know you didn't mean it in that way, like,
Yeah.
oh, you can just sit around and magically when you turn 35, you're going to become this different version of yourself. I know you didn't mean it that way. Obviously, you got to put the work in now in order to get to that position while you're that age. But the issue that I have is, like, why can't we be in our prime right now? You know what I mean? Obviously, we're not financially where we'll be when we're 35, or we don't have things figured out as much as we will when we're 35. But why not just identify yourself as your prime right now, right? Because I feel like in order to be the most confident version of yourself, you have to have that certainty in yourself. So I think I'm not gonna think to myself, oh, when I'm 35, I'll be in my prime. I think I'm in my prime right now.
Yeah.
And you know, you gotta wear it on your chest. And obviously, like, I'll have a million lessons that I learned from now to 35. But I think just identifying yourself as that person, as the person that's in their prime, is pretty beneficial, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Okay,
well,
wait. I just want to ask him this
Go,
really
go,
quick,
go.
and then you guys can go back, or you can ask him. Do you think you're in your prime right now at 21 years old, Nate Warren?
Listen, like I said, I think the prime can stretch. So I think, am I the best version of Nate Warren that's ever lived at this point in time? Yes. Each day I get better and better, and each day I keep improving. And right now, yes, I am prime Nate Warren. That's not to say that in the future I won't get better and better.
True.
Right? Like I said in the last episode, I'm a Charmander right now. By the time I'm 26, by the time I'm 35, I'll be a Charizard. Max evolution. So, yeah, I think I'm in my prime right now, but I think longevity, right?
Yeah.
Call myself LeBron James. Prime's gonna go on for a little while.
For sure, bro.
But anyways, I'll answer the question now. Do you think it's smarter to grind in your 20s or enjoy them while you're young? I think it comes down to balance, right? I think if you just have your head down, you're grinding, and you're not enjoying your life, what's the point? Obviously, that can set you up for success in the future. But I think I'm big on learning from experience. So if you're going to stay home and not book that flight, go on that trip, or you're going to stay home, you're not going to go out with your friends and, you know, party, talk to some girls, right? You're never going to have that experience. And by the time you're 35 years old, you're essentially going to be a loser.
Yeah, you're gonna be cooked.
Yeah.
So I'm big on, you know, learning by experience. Take every opportunity you can as a young 20-year-old man to gain that knowledge. So if that means Morgan hits me up and he's like, yo, Nate, let's go to this concert next weekend. If I'm free, I'm most likely going to jump on the opportunity. I think you should be out of the house as much as possible as a 20-year-old man, socializing, interacting with other people, trying new things every single day. And I think that's how you truly learn and truly become the best version of yourself. Obviously, the grind is amazing, and I think you can still have the grind with that balance of still doing some things fun here and there. You don't want to completely put yourself in a box, you know, say, I'm not going to go out and drink at a bar because, you know, Warren Buffett didn't do it when he was my age, right? Listen, buddy, you're not Warren Buffett. You know what I mean? Like, everyone's different. Everyone has their own path to success.
Yeah.
And I think for me, I think it's smarter to have that balance in your 20s, because having that balance in your 20s will give you more experience down the line, whether it's socially, physically, whatever it is. But yeah, you got to continue to build every single day. Another brick in the wall every single day, whether it's your business, whether you're trying to grow on social media, whether it's your physique, the little inputs every day, just another brick in the wall. So that's my definition of grinding in your 20s, but also having that balance at the same time, right?
Yeah. I believe like those skills too, like socializing and stuff, like I feel like that's also kind of part of the grind in a way, because you're building yourself towards your prime. You know what I mean? So like you gaining social experiences, you interacting with people in public, you're gaining experiences, and you're just going to learn from those experiences, and you're basically going to build yourself in the prime version of yourself by experiencing all these different things. So I would agree that those areas of your life are also part of the grind as well. It's not just like working with your head down the whole time. It's being social and stepping into your comfort zone. That's going to all add up and build you into the prime version of yourself.
I agree with that. I mean, the way I think about what you just said too is that, like, I said this in the YouTube video a while back. You want to picture yourself as like a ball, like a round ball. You don't want to be that guy who's just, you know, jacked, but he's got no communication skills, or that guy who's got like that crazy business, but he's got like no friends. You know what I mean? Like, everything in moderation. You want to kind of just be overall just that like well-rounded, perfect man.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to be, like I said, you don't want to be that guy who's just like so jacked. He knows everything about the gym, but then you ask him about like a book or literally anything else, and he can't have a conversation. Yeah. Like, you want to be overall well-rounded, and like Ollie said, that involves, you know, going out, talking to people, even if that means going to the bar. You know what I mean? Even, you know, stuff like this with the podcast. This is like a great way to improve that communication. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
sure, yeah.
You want to be a jack of all and a master of none.
Exactly.
Yes,
and that's how you become well-rounded.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool. So you guys want to touch up on anything about that question before we move on to the next? Or?
I'm good. I think I covered all my bases.
I think we're good.
Okay, cool. That was good. So the third question, Morgan has a question here for us.
Yeah, I actually have a few questions I want to bring up with these boys. So
I'm actually kind of scared.
Who knows what this guy's got?
Let's just say we're getting a bit into the woods here.
I think we're getting into the nitty gritty.
But yeah, all jokes aside, though, these are good questions. I mean, comment what you guys think about our answers or about the question in general. We'd love what you guys would like to, what you guys would have to say. So Ollie, Nate, here's one of my two questions for you boys. Let me start with this. What do you guys think about relationships in your 20s? Do they slow you down as a man, or do they fuel you? Would you consider a relationship right now in your 20s, you know, grinding or whatever you're doing in your 20s, would you consider it something helpful or not helpful? Nate, Ollie, I want to hear from you guys.
Nate, you go first.
Sure. So I think relationships in your 20s are a seriously beneficial thing for yourself and your development as a young man. And I know from my own experience, because I'm in a long-term relationship right now. And if I look at the guy I was when I first got into my relationship at 18 years old compared to the guy I am now, I can just see the mental, the physical, the emotional development that I've had over these past 2 years. Because I think a relationship allows you to learn more about yourself, right? And like I said about the last question, I'm a big learn by experience kind of guy. And just being in a relationship is another one of those experiences, right? If you go until you're 35 and you've never had a girlfriend, by the time you're 35 and you find the right one, you won't know how to please her emotionally. You won't know how to deal with her. You know what I mean? You got to have those reps in, right? From a young age. You know, you got to learn how to treat a woman right. Take her out, learn how to treat her right. And I think what's better than doing that than at a young age as a 20-year-old man, it makes it even better when she can support you on what you want to do in life, support your goals, because that just makes everything easier for you. And for me, I can say it's been a beneficial, positive thing in my life having a relationship as a young man, and I don't regret it one bit. And constantly, every single day, I'm just learning more and more about myself, learning more and more about how to treat my girlfriend as well, treat her the right way, because I'm not gonna lie, like, you know, I've made a lot of mistakes in the past, but it's about learning from those mistakes and maturing as a young man. And a girlfriend is a great way to mature and develop yourself as a young man. And that's just from my own experience, but I'll go ahead and pass it back to you guys. You guys want to touch up on that?
Yeah. So, that was really well said. But I think, so for me, I've never been in a long-term relationship myself, so I don't have that experience. And that's something that I do want to eventually get in my 20s, because like Nate said, if you don't have that experience in your 20s, when you get to like age 30 and you're trying to settle down with somebody, you don't have all those experiences and you don't know how to deal with certain situations properly because you haven't lived it. You know what I mean? But I also think it depends a lot on the partner you choose and yourself in that current moment. I think at this age, it's really good to like test the waters with people who like obviously test out like test and look for like a relationship that you want to be in, and like talk to different people and just see how people are and see who you work best with and who you work best alongside. But there's some relationships at this age that like are just completely toxic and they hold each other down. And those are relationships that I don't think are beneficial in your 20s. I think you have to be in a relationship where both partners are benefiting. And yeah, you have to be benefiting from your relationship. I feel like if you're not, you're just wasting time and you're just like you're being consumed by lust and affection and all this type of stuff that's not even real. But I can't really explain from personal experience because I've never experienced it before. But I think I've seen people in my life and around me who have been in relationships like this, and it's just done nothing but bad things for them. But then I've seen people like Nate who have been excelling in their relationship, and I've seen both of them excel in their lives since they've been together. So I think it all depends on the person you are and what you're looking for at this age. But I think it is good to have a relationship in your 20s just so you can get that life experience. Mo, what do you have to say?
I want to say both you guys are super well spoken on that. I actually agree with both of you guys. And I do want to say too, though, like I have noticed with Nate, especially like since he's been in a relationship, like he's definitely matured a lot. And like Ollie said too, it really just boils down to who you are as a man, and like Ollie said, what partner you pick, because well, also too, it also depends on what you want out of life. Like if you know your goal is you want a family, you want to have kids, obviously that experience is necessary.
Facts.
It's like showing up to a test that you didn't study for, right? Essentially,
For
you
real,
need that
yeah.
experience
Yeah.
within your 20s. You need to learn how to handle women, how to handle someone else's opinion, someone else's values, someone else's, thoughts. You need to learn to do that if you want that in the future. If you don't care about having kids or having a wife, then obviously, like, it doesn't matter. But it also depends, too, in my opinion, on who you are as a man first. I think you should find yourself before you find somebody else. You should know what you want out of life, what your goals are right now, what your goals are in the future. And then it just becomes 10 times easier to find a partner, because when you're out and experiencing, women, you can easily filter, oh, I can't deal with her, she's not right for me right now, whatever. And then when you find that one woman, you'll know and understand, okay, I have to jump on this, essentially. I have to, add her to my life. Because I also agree with Nate too, right? If both partners are on the same wavelength, on the same level, they both want the same thing, I feel like it's unstoppable, because at that point, like you almost have a partner, essentially. You have somebody working with you to kind of achieve what you both want out of life. So to sum that all up, it really depends on who you are as a man. Have you found yourself? And does that woman want what you want?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like also too, that's why you shouldn't, I don't know, it's weird because like a lot of guys will like go off of looks, right? And I'm not saying you should date somebody ugly, you shouldn't find them attractive. I'm not saying that. But, their goals and their beliefs should almost come before their looks, essentially. That's honestly what I think. Like, I'm not saying date somebody like you don't find attractive, obviously not.
Chopped cheese.
No chopped cheese. But they should definitely match what you're going for in life. Like, that'll make your life 100 times easier. So it really comes down to who you are as a man, essentially.
Yeah, I agree with both you guys. One thing that I truly believe is you're not ready to love someone if you're not already loving yourself.
Yeah.
You have to love
Sure,
yourself
man.
and put yourself first before you're ready to jump into a relationship and love someone else. And like Morgan said, it really comes down to what you want, right? Because I know guys that love to party. They love to get with different girls every weekend, right? But me personally, I want to build a family. I want to have grandchildren. I want a partner that I can be with until I die, right? So for me, having this experience at a young age is great because, obviously when you have a wife, you got to know how to treat her right. And these are the things that I'm learning right now, being in my relationship. And yeah, like Ollie said too, there's some relationships that aren't beneficial to each party, right? Each party is just in the relationship to have a relationship. I know a lot of people our age that are literally just in relationships to say that they have a boyfriend or to say that they have a girlfriend. They just like the idea of it,
Yeah.
but it's really not benefiting them in any kind of way. They love the chaos. They love the chaotic lifestyle of it. And it's really just unproductive, right? Because, you know, you'll see people get into a relationship and maybe they'll start both going down a wrong path, right? And it's happened a lot. I've seen experiences like this in my own life as well. So yeah, it's all about finding the right person that matches up with your moral values and a person that has the same vision as you in life, you know. And then on top of that, it's about benefiting each party in the relationship, like Ollie said. A relationship should be beneficial on both ends. Obviously, there's going to be days where one party's benefiting more and one party's benefiting less. But as long in the grand scheme of things, you're both elevating each other, you're both growing together, then that relationship is something that you should stick to in your 20s.
For sure.
Yeah, as long as you aren't weighing each other down, you know what I mean? Like, whenever I see like a bad relationship, I always think about like two people in like a pool, like, and like one person's got like a weight tied to their ankle and they're like pulling the other person down. And it's just like, I don't know. I really can't picture myself in a relationship like that at this age. Like it weighs so heavy on my moral scale. Like I just can't fathom being in a relationship that doesn't benefit me. I just don't see the point, but I get it. Like I know I've seen people with a like firsthand experience. They like fall for like lust and like just simple attraction, like what Mo touched on. And yeah, you really have to be like, it goes way further than just face value. You know what I mean? Like it's not all looks. You have to really you have to really learn a lot about that person and know what you're getting yourself into before you enter a relationship in your 20s.
Facts.
Because like some people too, like they just can't be alone. Like
Yeah.
they just
Yeah.
always need somebody.
That's what I was saying. Like
you
they
know?
just like the idea of being in a relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's
And you know what? Like the reason that they can't be alone is because they really don't love themselves deep down.
Exactly. Yeah.
and they're just looking for a way to fill their time.
Yeah,
Like,
they want to fill the void by searching for something else, someone else. And it's really just bringing both parties down because we've all seen how these relationships work out. They never work out.
Yeah, and it's sad. It always comes crashing down, and it leaves both parties affected. And it's sad to see it, but it's
Yeah.
the harsh reality.
Yeah. But to sum things up, I think all three of us kind of agreed that being in a relationship in your 20s is beneficial.
Yeah,
Right?
I
I
would
agree.
say so. Yeah.
I think it's beneficial for
Yeah.
sure.
Cool.
But then also too, one last thing before we close it off. Even though it's beneficial, it doesn't mean you should just jump into any relationship at the same time, right? Just make sure you're finding that right partner who's actually
Yeah.
gonna, be there
Sure,
for you
yeah.
and build with you.
It's like anything else in your life. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah,
Exactly.
You can't just fall in love today and expect things to be like Bonnie and Clyde. Even though I don't know how Bonnie and Clyde ended. For all I know, one of them could have died or something.
ride or die.
But
Nah,
you can't just expect things to be all sunshine and rainbows. You have to work for it. You have to work for it within yourself.
And you can't fall for face value. That's
Yep. Cool.
Never judge a book by its cover.
for
Facts,
sure, man.
facts.
bro.
Cool. Should we move over to the next question that Morgan has?
I think so.
Let's do it, Mo. Let's hear
I
it.
feel like I'm in an interrogation room right now. Like I'm on a lie detector test.
Don't worry, sir. We only got one more question for you.
Let's do it.
Okay, these boys are gonna like this one because they both did a solo travel pretty recently. So, boys, what is your guys' opinion on travel in your 20s? Do you think it slows you down, or is it a form of progression and leveling up? Should you travel before or after you've made a little bit of financial progression? What do you guys think? Ollie, I want to start with you.
All right, I can start on this one. Yeah. I think traveling in your 20s is extremely important, and you definitely should do it. I'm just going to start off with that. There's so many aspects of traveling that can better a person, and I think after being like a decently traveled person, not as much as Nate, but I've traveled to like plenty of places in my 20s so far, and you can definitely tell on the street if somebody has traveled out of the country and experienced other cultures and someone between someone who hasn't.
So facts.
It's like you can literally walk down the street and you can see, yep, this person's definitely well traveled. They know, like they've seen other cultures, and this person definitely hasn't.
Yeah.
But I think as a young 20-year-old, it's so important to see the world, and it even goes into like the building up to your prime. Like this experience is part of the grind. I feel like you're socially excelling. You're learning so many new things when you're away. You're talking to new people, and it's just, I think it's so beneficial for a young man to do this in the early 20s. Like there's so many certain experiences, like staying in hostels, like staying with random people, like stepping out of your comfort zone. It all just adds up to like building you into a better person in total. And well, me and Nate, we went on a small trip this summer. I met Nate. We went to Italy, and there was one thing that really stood out to me on that trip that was a big eye opener for me. And we actually talked about this on the trip. We were like going out partying with like older people, like people who I would never picture myself partying with here, or like anywhere, like, yeah, in Toronto or anything, like, but there we were just kind of put in a situation where we had to make do with what we had, and it was a super enjoyable experience. Like, I think it definitely caused me to be a lot more open-minded and just like take situations into account and not judge it, like not judge a book by its cover, and just become a lot more open-minded, like I mentioned. But yeah, I think traveling in your 20s is probably one of the most important aspects, because it's a big step out of your comfort zone, and it's a lot of fun too. So it's a fun way to grind, and it's a fun way to gain life experience. Nate, what do you have to say about this?
Wait, real quick. How often should you travel in your 20s, do you think? What's a healthy amount?
I think a healthy amount is at least once a year. I think you should be traveling at least once a year when you get some free time. And yeah, I think traveling once a year is a perfect amount. If you can do more, definitely do it if you can swing it. But a lot of people can't at this age. A lot of people are busy with school, work. So yeah, I think once a year is a perfect amount, but more if you can. Is there more another part to that question that I'm missing?
No, you covered it. You covered it.
Yeah. All right, Nate, what do you have to say?
Yeah, I completely agree with Oliver here. Traveling is so important and so essential if you're in your 20s. And I've obviously been privileged enough to learn it firsthand experience. So I'll tell a little story here. Up until I was 19 years old, I traveled around United States, traveled around Canada, but I never actually left North America before. So when I was 18 years old, I went on a trip with my family to the United Kingdom. And it was the first time going into Europe, flying across the ocean. And it really just opened my eyes about how big the world really is. Because my whole life I was just living in my own little bubble, staying in Toronto, going to a few places in the States and in Canada. But just flying across the ocean made me realize how big the world really is and how much opportunity there really is out there in the world. And besides the fact of just having a great experience every time I travel, and it's just my favorite thing to do. Recently, I just went on my first ever solo travel, and it's completely changed my life. I've learned so much about myself and about life on that solo travel journey, because when you're alone and you're in a different country, you have so much time to just reflect. You know, it's like life just pauses. You're living a slow life, and you can just look back into the past. You can look into the future and just really decide on what you want out of life. You also learn so much about yourself, because you have to pretty much survive by yourself, right? In different countries, be able to navigate yourself around, being able to find places to stay, being able to meet people and create good connections all over the world. And it's definitely been the biggest confidence booster of my life. Just being able to know that you can go anywhere in the world and just survive and just live and just have a good time, right? Meet people, have a good time, find your way around. You'll be good. And that's one thing, another thing that I've learned from my first ever solo travel journey. On top of that, just seeing the world, right? Like, one of my dreams in life is to see the whole world and go to all the places that I've ever dreamed of. So I've been so lucky that I've been able to see a bunch of places on that list. And I also have a lot of other places on that list that I haven't been to yet, but I'm definitely going to be going there. As far as how often do I think you should travel, I agree with Ollie. I think you should travel at least once a year, at least. And I encourage every single person listening, and I encourage these guys as well too. as a young person, if you ever have the chance to solo travel, take it, because it will truly change your life. Just your confidence levels, your outlook on life, finding your vision and finding what you really want to do in life. You'll realize that from solo traveling. And also just the fact of like making decisions on your own too, right? Like I noticed like when I traveled alone, like since I was the only one there, I had to make every single decision for myself. It was such a freeing feeling, right? Like I decided when I wanted to eat. I decided when I needed to go buy groceries. I decided when I wanted to go out and do things, right? I decided where I wanted to go. Just being able to make decisions for yourself like that is essential in life if you want to be successful. And you learn how to make those kind of decisions when you solo travel. So yeah, I think traveling is so important. Every single one of you listening, you should go travel. You should go travel solo. It's so much fun, and it's just memories that I made on this solo travel trip. I'll never forget my whole life, and I can't wait to go on my next trip. So I'll leave it at that. Morgan, let's hear you talk.
Let's hear it, Mo.
Honestly, boys, those are both great answers. I mean, I totally agree. There's just so much stuff that you learn from solo traveling or just traveling in general that you would just never learn from being in your comfort zone, pretty much where you grew up, right? Let's say, you live in, like Michigan or wherever you live, right? And you just decide to never leave. You know every street like the back of your hand, you know everything, right? You're never going to experience, like Nate said, that decision-making skill or that just overall independence by staying in your hometown. And in my 20s so far, I haven't done too much travel. I've done a lot of Caribbean, but even for me, like, it doesn't take much to not even experience, but to appreciate life. Like, even going somewhere as close, we live in Toronto, so even going somewhere as close as New York City or even Buffalo, it just gives me a whole different perspective because New York is like an 8-hour drive, like a 2-hour flight away. It's not even that far. But the way of life is just so different to me. Just the culture, it's a different country even. It's just crazy to see how like other people live. And to me, it's just always an eye-opener. I think that if you don't experience that, you're kind of just like, you're keeping yourself within a shell. I think traveling, it's so important. I definitely want to do a lot of traveling in my 20s. And like these boys said, I definitely agree. At least once a year for a week, at least a week a year. Take a trip, travel somewhere. Doesn't have to be somewhere hot. Doesn't have to be somewhere, the weather doesn't matter. Just get out of where you're from, experience life, just try new things essentially, right? The more you try new things, whether it's traveling or just starting a pod, whatever it is, I feel like that's a great, thing to do. And one of the easiest, most effective ways to just put yourself out of that comfort zone is just to say, you know what, bro, screw it. I'm going to Russia or I'm going to Tokyo or I'm going to Australia. Like just get out and experience because like Nate was saying too, like the world is just so big. Like staying in Toronto or staying in wherever you're from, you're missing out on so much. Like it's crazy.
It's crazy.
Like, the world's massive,
Yep.
So that's pretty much my thing on it. Like just get out and experience. The world's literally massive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, you know what it feels like? Like when you're like leaving the country by yourself and stuff, like it feels like you're going from like Minecraft creative mode and like turning on survival mode. Like
Yeah.
literally, bro. Like because you're
much.
like taking like you're under your parents' houses here, like you're getting fed by your parents, like things are being done for you, right? But then like as soon as you hop on that plane, like survival mode starts. Like you're on your own, you know what I mean? Like you gotta wash your laundry, all your laundry, you gotta make all your food, you gotta make all your decisions. Like Nate said, like it's crazy. And like I want to share one experience that I had the first ever time I left the country. I went to Thailand in Asia, and it was the craziest culture shock I've ever had in my entire life. Like for the first like 3 days, I was just trying to like get my head together. Like how are things like operating in this city? I was in Bangkok, Thailand, and I was like, things operate here so much different than it does in Toronto. And it's just like, how am I here? Like it doesn't even feel like I was on Earth anymore. It just felt like I was on like a different planet. Like because I was so used to being here and like in like the comfortability of my own city, my own town, and like going there, it's just like how Nate said too, like the world is just so big, like it's so many different places, so much things to experience. And it's something I would I would never forget in my entire life. It's solo traveling in your 20s or just traveling in general is one of the most important experiences you can possibly have.
Yeah, it really teaches you to be spontaneous. And I think in order to become a successful person, you need to learn how to be spontaneous, right? You need to learn how to jump on opportunities without thinking too much. You got to move fast, right? And that's what traveling does for you, because you have to make these decisions quick. Where you want to go, where do you want to stay, what do you want to see? It really teaches you to be spontaneous. And also, nobody talks about the motivation that you get when you get home from traveling.
Oh, that's
that's
so
crazy.
true, yeah.
Like, it's insane.
Whenever I get back from a trip, especially my solo travel journey, I just came back so motivated and had such a positive outlook on life, right? Like being motivated financially so you can go enjoy another travel, right? Being motivated physically so you can get into the best shape of your life so you can be the most confident version of you when you travel the next time. And that's something that I always get when I get back from traveling. I always come back from my trips motivated, happy, positive, and just I look back and I'm like, wow, I'm so happy I got to experience these things.
Yeah.
Cool.
And for me too, what I noticed is that it doesn't even take an extravagant trip to feel that emotion. Like you can go as close as like Buffalo,
Yeah.
like New York City. You know, the culture is already so different than Canada. It's a different country. So just going somewhere, you know, a couple hours away, that's enough to motivate you to, you know, want to go back. You know what I mean? So
Getting out of your environment,
yeah,
getting out of your comfort zone, and just going on adventure.
yeah.
Adventure is key.
And it's so much fun. Like, it's unexplainable.
It's awesome, guys. It's cool that we had similar opinions on that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
If you guys are going to take anything away from this, it's that we all believe that travel is important and essential for anyone young in their 20s, even if you're old too. Just go see the world. It's a beautiful thing to see the world. So cool. I'm going to move us on to our final question.
Let's do it.
This is our final question. I believe we're about an hour into this episode, so we'll try to keep this quick, rapid fire kind of thing. The final question is, what's one thing you've sacrificed at this age that other 20-year-olds usually aren't sacrificing? And what's one thing that you refuse to sacrifice at this age? If you guys want, I'll go first.
Start.
Go for it. Go
Just
for
to
it.
change things up for a bit. So one thing that I've sacrificed at this age that most 20-year-olds haven't sacrificed typically, I mean, there's a few things, right? Because everyone has different vices. Everyone has different addictions. But one thing that I can proudly say that I've sacrificed is, I mean, my biggest flex is that I've never sucked on a vape before. Never sucked on a robot cock
Bro,
before.
I thought you were about to say something crazy, bro.
I mean, like, a lot of kids our age are addicted to nicotine. They're sucking on vapes. And that's one thing that I've never done. And I'm so proud to say that I'll never do that. I think it's disgusting. I think the health risks are horrible for you. And we've seen it. We've seen people, young men like us, have lung collapses, end up in the hospital. And I'm proud to say that I don't suck on robot cock. So it feels good. Well, anyways, I mean, so that's one thing that I sacrifice, even though it's not even a sacrifice for me. Like, I don't even want to suck on a vape.
Sacrificing those shitty head rushes, eh?
Yeah. But okay, I'll leave you guys with that. I'll listen to their answers and I'll try to think if there's another thing that I've actually.
Well, no. What's one thing you can't go without? You can't drop.
One thing that I can't sacrifice. I mean, it's pretty simple for me. I can't sacrifice my cheat days. I can't sacrifice my sweets. Even though I'm constantly chasing the best version of myself, working out every day, running, sticking to my diet, I still have to have that cheat day at least once a week so I can just have my mind at ease and I can really enjoy myself. And that's something that's non-negotiable for me. You know, whether it's going out with the boys, going out with my girlfriend, having a nice dinner, some nice dessert, that's something that I'm not willing to sacrifice. Obviously, your sacrifices changes in each moment, right? Like, so if I was training for a bodybuilding show or training to be like a European swimsuit model, like I probably would have to sacrifice the cheat meal But right now, that's not where my goals align. So I can't sacrifice my cheat meals right now. I love them. I'm a big back, and I can't complain, honestly. I'll go ahead and pass it over to you guys.
Ollie, you want to go ahead?
You want to take it first, Mo?
Sure. But Nate, I was gonna say I smelt that one coming from you. I just knew that
The cheat meals?
Yeah, I knew that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's not negotiable for
Yeah.
me. Like we talked about this earlier. As far as balance, what balance means to me, it means having that to look forward to.
Yeah.
And truly,
Sure.
yeah, it's important to me. Obviously, I can go a weekend without having a big chicken sandwich and some ice cream, but just something that I don't want to sacrifice.
Yeah.
I think it's healthy, and I think I'm striving by living through these methods that I use. So
Yeah.
But yeah, fuck. I mean, with me, one thing that I feel like I've sacrificed that a lot of people won't sacrifice. I mean, these boys all do the same as me with this one, but I would say excessive drinking. Like, I don't think drinking is a problem. Everything in moderation. But I don't know if it's just me or like what I see online, or just from what I hear from people, but a lot, not even young men, like even women too, like especially like university age, like a lot of excessive drinking. Like every weekend, they just have to go out, they have to drink, they have to get super drunk. I feel like that's something I've been able to sacrifice. Not really like Nate with the vaping. Like it's not something I've always wanted to do. Like I've never really been like the hugest like drinker. I've never really been like, oh, like I'm excited to go out and drink, but I've definitely cut back for sure in the last like 2 years or so. I would say even in 2025, like I've drinking like under 5 times. I've gone out like under 5 times. And I don't even think I've gotten drunk in 2025, if I'm being real. Maybe once, I can't remember, but overall, that's just one thing I've been cutting back. I mean, alcohol, in my opinion, is way worse than any cheat meal. What it does to your liver, all that. I just think overall, it's a really bad vice to have, and I'll do whatever I can to keep that out and sacrifice it or keep it out of my life. And then just like Nate, I mean, come on, guys, let's be real. One thing I cannot cut out is those cheat meals, the Five Guys, the Dave's Hot Chicken, the ice cream. I'm not saying I eat that stuff every night like Nate, but in moderation, that's the one thing I have to keep in my life in moderation. I can't do it.
Yo, Mo, I want to ask you, what's your go-to cheat meal?
Man. Okay. I would have to go with Five Guys.
I knew you were going to say that
I would
too.
have to do that.
Bro, Five Guys is the best burger
So
by
good.
far. So
That would be
I
good
just
right
love
now.
a good burger. Burger for sure is my favorite like cheat meal. So any good juicy burger, I'm on it.
should we get it after this?
Oh, nah, not today. Not
Nah, I'm
today.
trolling. I was trying to see if this guy would fold or not.
If I'd bite.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
We love food here.
We
love
do.
food.
We do. We love it.
Yeah.
Always
Yeah.
hear from you.
All right, yeah. So I think we're running out of time here, so I'll keep my answers quick. But I think so. One thing that I've sacrificed as a 20-year-old man is yeah. So I quit my part-time job about a year ago, and that's something that I think other people probably wouldn't sacrifice. I quit my job to go all in on my business about a year ago, and it's paid off detrimentally for me. So I've made more money than I could ever have imagined, and I didn't realize how much that part-time job was holding me back until I quit. My income went way higher than I thought it would, but yeah, I think that's one thing that I sacrificed as a 20-year-old man that other people probably wouldn't. And one thing that I cannot live without of is probably my social life. I don't think I could give up hanging out with my friends like once in a while during the week. I think that's something I really enjoy, and it's something that I wouldn't give that up for sure. I think hanging out with my friends, having a social life is key for balance and just enjoying my time. I can't be one of those people who just stay inside for an entire month, like go on monk mode for an entire month and not see anybody. I've tried that before. It's not good for the mental health. It's definitely not good, but I think my social life is definitely one thing that I could not give up for sure.
That's a good one.
Sweet.
Yeah. Is that it for the questions?
Yeah, that's all the questions we have here.
Oh yeah, I think we're approaching our deadline here.
Yeah, so we can go ahead and wrap it up.
Sounds good.
That was a successful episode.
For sure. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lot of deep questions.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, thank you guys for watching the second ever episode of the Elevation Room. That was a good episode.
Good episode, yeah.
Sure.
We'll be back soon with more pressing questions,
Yeah.
more topic of discussion. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys soon.
Hey guys, let us know if you agree or disagree with what we talked about. I want to hear it in the comments.
Yeah, I want to hear some other opinions as well. And
Yeah.
we got some big things coming for the future, but yeah. Peace out.
Later,
Thanks,
guys.
guys.